Welcome to Module 5, Navigating the Environment. As you well know, in the early parts of this unit, our focus was mainly on how the psychological domain shapes our behaviour. So we were exploring the role of perceptual and cognitive processes, along with values and worldviews, the interrelationships between the person and the wider social and cultural context. In the last module, however, we began to move out into the physical environment, which is actually the main focus of our unit, by considering the meaning of place, of physical locations. And now in this module, we'll be taking the next step. No longer confined to individual places, we'll be looking at how we navigate and find our way within the extended physical environment. The basic ability to find our way within complex environments is pretty much the most fundamental cognitive function that we have. It involves maintaining a sense of direction, of moving about from place to place, and changing our sense of where we are based on our location in the world. And so while this may sound pretty simple and straightforward, we actually rely on these abilities for everything that we do, from our basic survival, searching for food, and finding our home when we leave it, to also engaging in leisure and social activities. So while clearly indispensable, many of us will obviously take these abilities for granted, simply because they're so fundamental to our everyday activities. We only really become aware of how complex and difficult these processes actually are when things just start to go wrong. So, for instance, when we get lost, or if we feel overwhelmed by a complex environment. Feeling disoriented or lost can lead to a sense of anxiety and fear. But on the other hand, when we understand our environment, when we can make sense of it, we actually may derive a sense of psychological comfort. Wayfinding, then, is the overall process by which we navigate our various physical environmental settings. And also, interestingly enough, our informational settings, our virtual environments. It's facilitated by our capacity to form cognitive maps, which are mental representations of our spatial environment. Both wayfinding and the accuracy of our cognitive maps is enhanced by, or facilitated by, the legibility of our physical environment. That is, the distinctiveness of the features within it, and the ease with which we make sense of them, understand them, and categorize them. Cognitive mapping itself is based on two main processes. These are spatial cognition and environmental cognition. These two processes come together to produce our cognitive maps, and also to enable our ability to find our way within the environment. In brief, spatial cognition is our overall understanding of ourselves in relation to our surroundings. That is, the places, the objects, and the people within our environment. It allows us to understand where we are physically in space, then to use that understanding to plan our movements, and to update it all according to the changing conditions and the different locations that we encounter in our world. Environmental cognition, on the other hand, is a higher level, more integrated process. It refers to our awareness of the environment, the information that we have about it, our images and beliefs about the environment, the things, the places, and the people within it. Cognitive mapping combines environmental and spatial cognition into one. It integrates our thinking about environment and also our actions within it, so that we can perform all of the activities that we need or want to undertake. In looking at the concept of cognitive maps, we'll be uncovering some of the basic principles that guide their development. In particular, we'll be focusing on those that contribute to a sense of legibility and that aid our understanding and navigation of the environment. From there, we'll be exploring the steps involved in wayfinding and identifying some of the processes that underlie it. Finally, we'll be employing those principles to discover ways in which we might be able to enhance wayfinding. Overall, then, this module will be focusing on three main questions. Firstly, what is cognitive mapping? Secondly, what is wayfinding and navigation? And finally, how can we go about enhancing wayfinding? What's the role of technology and maybe some of the implications of technology? So continue reading to learn more about how we find our way within the world, how we make sense of it, how the physical structures within the world contribute to our own understanding of the world itself.